Sit up straight. Press your hands into the floor, lengthen up through your side waist and side chest. Release your hands to your thighs. Close your eyes. Descend your thighs. With equal and even weight, your two sitting bones, lengthen up through the front of your body. Move your arm bones back to bring your shoulder blades into your back. And as your shoulder blades press into your back, use that to lift your chest. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. Take slow, even breaths. And then gently open your eyes. Extend your legs out. Spread your toes. And then come to sit in Virasana. Knees together, heels apart. Sit between your heels as best you can. Descend your thighs. Sometimes that needs a little assistance. And then keep your thighs descended, interlock your fingers, turn your palms out, lift your arms up. Extend through your wrist. Get taller and taller through your side waist and side chest. Get taller and taller in both your arms. At the same time, release your thighs down. Then release your fingers, interlock your hands behind, roll your shoulders back, lift your arms up. Keep your chest lifted as you lift your arms higher and higher. And bring your hands around in front again. Change the interlock of your fingers. Turn your palms out and lift your arms up. Iyengar. I can't say it, never mind. Urdhva Hastasana with the fingers interlocked. We'll call it that one. Oh my gosh, I can't even say it today. I have days where I can't say certain words. So descend through your thighs, lengthen up through your waist, your chest, your armpits, your wrist. Then release your hands down, interlock your hands behind. Roll your shoulders back, lift your arms up. Lift your arms higher and higher from the triceps. Then release your hands, hold on to your heels, and come forward. Pull on your heels, lower your chest toward your thighs. Inhale, come back up. Come off your Virasana. I guess you could be not on height. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips high, come into Uddha Kusumasana. Downward facing dog. Press your thighs back, straighten your legs. Turn your upper arms out. Press down with your palms. So press down with the entire circle of the palm. And then turn your upper arms out while doing that. At the same time, press evenly through the base of the big toe, base of the little toe. And make sure that your knees are pointing the same direction. Bend your knees, come down, rest in the child's pose. Now, come back up. Place your elbows on the ground. Turn your palms to the ground. Press your palms into the floor, tuck your toes underneath, and come up into downward facing dog. Press as much of your forearm into the floor as possible. Move your thighs back. Move your heels back. And then step your feet towards each other or together. And lift your right leg up. Extend through your heel of the right leg, actually both heels, but think about the right one. And lift from the area right underneath the body. So use your hamstrings to lift your leg. Higher and higher and higher and higher. And then lower your right leg down. Take a breath. Lift your left leg up. Extend through your left heel. Then use the backs of your legs where your hamstring meets your buttock to lift the leg higher and higher and higher. And then lower that leg down, rest, back down. All right. So you can have elbows down or elbows up. But for the next one, so I'm going to show with elbows up, and then I'll do it with elbows down. You walk in as much as you can, and then lift one leg up. So this is elbows down, and elbows up. All right, so you do what works best for you. It's a little harder on the shoulders to have the elbows down. It's easier on the wrist. So press down with your palms and then walk in. Squeeze your legs towards each other and then lift your right leg up. Extend through your right heel, roll your right hip in, and lift from the strength of the hamstrings to lift the leg higher and higher. Then lower your right leg down, lift your left leg up, roll your left hip in, and lift the leg higher and higher through the strength of your hamstrings. And then come back down. Rest for a moment. Come up to standing. Sorry, still getting used to the new computer. If you have some blocks, go ahead and get some blocks and place them in front of your feet. You're going to need room to kick back. So first, come into Uttanasana with your hands on the blocks. You can use the floor. You can use any kind of blocks. So with your feet together and your hands pressing into the blocks, lift your chest, look forward. Then lift your right leg up. Now lift it up right where the hamstring meets the buttock. That's the area of strength. That's the area you want to work on to lift your legs higher and higher. Although in this one, we'll just lift them to parallel to the floor if they go that high. Keep looking a little forward. Yeah. You don't have to look a lot forward, but don't look down at your feet. Then extend your left arm. Keep lifting from the base of the buttocks and press through your right heel. Take your outer left hip back. Lower your left arm. But wait, there's more. Lift your right arm. Extend through the fingers of your right hand as you extend through your right heel. And then lower your right arm, lower your right leg. Take a breath here. Lift your left leg up. Take your outer right hip back. Lift from the hamstring of the left leg. Extend through your left heel. Find the balance on your right leg. So if you're leaning towards the little toe side of the foot, you're probably leaning into the right hip. Then lift your right arm up. Extend through your right fingertips as you extend through your left heel. Remember to not look at your feet. Look a little forward. Now lower your right hand. Press down through your right big toe. Lift your left arm up. Lower your left arm. Lower your left leg. Place your hands on your hips. Inhale, come back up. Now we're going to do a little thing. Courtney knows the person I learned this from, her name's Jade Fonda, but I don't know if anyone else knows her. But anyway, it's very silly. But since Karen has a little hurt hamstring, it's something that has helped me before. Because you do the yoga long enough, it's almost like you're going to pull your hamstring at some point. So sit in Tandasana with nothing underneath you. So no hip support. And you have to have room to go forwards and back. But you're gonna butt crawl. So you lean to the side and you scoot that hip bone forward and then back. So what this does, as far as I can tell, is it massages the area where the hamstring attaches to the sitting bones. And since we just worked the hamstrings, it's a little nice to have a massage. Because we're gonna work them some more. And it's fun and silly, which I like things that are fun and silly. All right, come up to standing. Try doing it without your hands. Okay, now if you can have your hands flat on the floor and keep looking forward, and you don't need blocks. I'm going to show with blocks. So we're going to do Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana, standing splits. So the first one we'll do with the left hand will grab the back of the left ankle and the right leg will lift up. All right. So when you pull on your left ankle, you want to pull yourself in as you lift the opposite leg up. All right. So start in Uttanasana with your hands either on the floor or on bricks. Extend your chest forward. Lift your right leg up. So again, we're using the strength of the hamstring to lift the leg up. Then, now here's where you can bend the elbows and bring your left hand to the back of your left ankle. Keep extending the right leg up and pull yourself in closer and closer to your left leg. All right, bring your left hand forward, look forward, lower your right leg. Take a breath. Lift your left leg up. Take your right hand to the back of your right ankle. Lift your left leg up higher. Bend your elbow to pull yourself further and further in, lifting that leg higher and higher. And then bring your right hand forward, bring your left leg down. Come back up to standing. All right. Now this time, here we go. We'll take, so just like when we were in kind of that Virabhadrasana 1 variation, this variation, let's see. We're lifting the right leg first. This variation is easier than this variation. This is the one in the book. So I'll talk you through it. So if it's easier to talk you through it than to try to figure out which is your right and left hand. So come back down for Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana. Extend your chest forward, then with an exhalation, lift your right leg up.
Then down towards your right leg, towards your left leg, lift your right leg higher and higher. And now, take your right hand to your left ankle and pull yourself in. Then bring your right hand down, bring your right leg down, back into Ardha Uttanasana. And for the second side, lift your left leg up. Bend your elbows to the sides, lift down. Lift your left leg up as you bring your head down. And then take your left hand to the back of the right ankle and pull yourself further and further in. Then bring both hands to the floor, both legs to the floor, hands to the hips, come all the way back up. All right. So one more, well, we'll save the other hamstring thing for a little later. All right, so find a wall where you can lift a leg and it can rest on the wall. Now, if your balance is still precarious here, then you can use a chair, either leg to the chair seat or leg to the chair back, depending on your flexibility. All right, wall's a little harder. So, Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So stand, find your distance. You want to stand so that your hip, this will be your left hip, is in line with your left heel. And lift your right leg up. All right. Lift the toes of your left leg. All right. If it was very difficult to lift the toes of your left leg, you might need to scoot your foot in a little closer. That would be your left foot. All right, at the same time, descend your right hip. Lift your arms up. You can't see. Okay. Press your left thigh back. Good. All right. Take your hands back to your hips. Lower your right leg down. Lift your left leg up. Take your outer left hip down. Lift the toes of your right leg to see if the weight is in your heel. And then lift your arms up. Extend through your fingers, press down through your right heel. And then lower your arms, lower your left leg. Okay. Now we're going to take the arm to the wall. So I'm just going to show, well, I can show my right leg on the side. So this time, bring your arm to the wall, and if you can't hold on to your foot without a strap, let me show you a different way of holding a strap. So you make a big loop, and then you place it on the foot, and you can hold into the loop. This is a little easier for those that get hand pain from holding loops. So if you're used to holding it like this, it's a little easier, and you can actually wrap it around your wrist So when you get this double loop, which for some reason is eluding me there. Okay. You can put it around your wrist a little easier like this. All right. So if you need balance, you can either use a chair or use a wall. All right. So stand on your left leg. Place your right foot in the loop, or hold on to your big toe with the first two fingers and thumb, and extend your right leg. Descend your right hip. Take your left thigh back. Try not to lean into the wall. Yeah. Straighten both legs. Descend your right hip more, Karen, I think. All right, and then bend your knee, release your right leg down. Lift your left leg. Bring your left leg in, press your right thigh back, extend your left leg. Move your left hip down, take your right thigh back. See if you're pressing evenly with try not to lean into the wall. Better. All right. Bend your knee, release it down. Okay. So this time when we're going to do this pose a few times. This time when you do the pose, see how high up the wall you can get your leg. But both legs have to be straight. And you might be able to see, my leg was further back, and I'm gonna lower my camera just a touch. You don't really need to see my face. Because of the way this is, you might be able to see something that I'm doing here. Let me exaggerate it a little bit. All right, so you see how you can see the dark wood coming through. This means my bottom leg is too far back because I'm leaning into the wall. So I want to bring that leg forward so that it's in a straight line, not leaning towards the wall like this. All right? So you want to do that too. That's pretty ambitious to go up that high. But see how high you can get your right leg. At the same time, not having your left leg lean forward. So keep your left leg back as you lift your right leg up. Yeah, all pretty flexible. So hold on to your right leg. Press your left thigh back. And then bend your elbows and bring your forehead towards your shin. Keep pressing your left thigh back. Don't let it bend. There we go. All right, bend your right leg, bring it down. Oh, it's turned out. Oh. Other side. Lift your left leg up. Press your right thigh back. Keep pressing your right thigh back. Descend your left hip. Right left hip. Hold on to your leg with your hands and pull yourself in towards your leg. Then bend your left leg, release it to the floor. All right. Take your feet sticky mat distance apart. Fold forward and hold your opposite elbow. Place your hands on your hips, elbows to the ceiling. Inhale, come all the way up. All right. So it's time for Shirshasana, headstand. If you don't want to do a headstand, then you're back here. Either this time you can interlock your hands, you'll have a little bit more power that way. In this pose, possibly lifting one leg up, or Shirshasana, or whatever you do when people say Shirshasana. Press your forearms down, and whatever pose you're in, you're pressing your forearms down. As you press your forearms down, you're lifting your shoulders away from your ears. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Keep your arms active, keep your legs active. So this goes for whatever pose you're in. If you need to take a break, take a break. All right. Now you remember the hamstrings? So see if you can activate your hamstrings here by moving your hamstrings towards your buttocks and your buttocks towards your hamstrings. That's what Anne likes to say a lot. And see if you can use that to take your thighs back. So just like the hamstrings lifted the leg up, they also help you keep your legs in line with your shoulders and not tilting forward or less likely tilting back. All right, if you'd like to add a little variety, keep your left leg where it is and take your right leg slightly forward. Then lift your right leg up. Then keep your right leg straight up as your left leg comes forward. Now, as you do these legs hither and thither, bring your left leg back up. You have to remember about your forearms, because otherwise your shoulders will sink and you'll feel it in your neck. All right, come down. Rest with your head down. And then come back up. Okay. So your choices here are either the right angle here. one leg up. Or, I don't really like to show you that side of me. Or handstand with one leg down. So, pick one of
Which
those.
is better for the hamstring, Mary? Which would you suggest? Which version?
Go ahead, ask it again.
Which version would you recommend for the hamstring?
I don't think either one would, I
Make a
think
difference. Okay.
neither one of them strengthen the hamstring. The handstand one is much harder. Oh. So press the entire circle of the palm into the floor, and you can come up and down as you need to. As you press the circle of the palm into the floor, open up your armpits. All right, well, that was fun. Okay, so one more thing with the hamstring, just as a little rest before we get into a few back bends. So if you have a block, this was taught to me by Lori Blakeney for one time when I had a hamstring injury. You put the block all up in your business, and then you bring your feet as close together as possible. And it kind of hurts. Not severely, but it's uncomfortable. Especially if you have knock knees. So you squeeze the block as much as you can by bringing the feet as close together as you can, but you can also squeeze from your outer thighs. All right, and then release the block. If your pelvis is sensitive on the floor, go ahead and put a blanket on top of your mat. And lie on your belly for Svanasana. All right, so the first one, we're just gonna lift the legs one at a time and then both together, and then we'll add the arms. So you can rest your head. You can either rest it on your hands, although that makes it hard for you to understand me if I do that. Or you can turn your head to the side. I'm gonna sit up on my elbows so my voice isn't trapped in this little mat. All right, so roll your thighs in. Be on the centers of your thighs, the centers of your feet. Engage your quadriceps. And then remind yourself where that area was between the buttock and the top of the leg, and lift your right leg from there. Then lower your right leg down and lift your left leg up. So keep your lifted leg, actually keep both legs straight. So keep your quadricep engaged. All right, lower your left leg down. Now engage both quadriceps. So that keeps the leg straight if your quadriceps are engaged. And then use your hamstrings to lift both legs up. They won't go up that high unless you're a really good back bender. Lower both legs down. All right, now we're going to add the arms. Take the hands by the hips. Move the shoulder blades towards each other. Engage both quadriceps, lift both legs, lift your chest, and lift your arms. Extend through your fingers, extend through your toes. Look slightly forward. This is a very good pose to put your timer on. Can be a little humbling, but it's a good pose to put the timer on. All right, come back down. Now to make it just slightly harder, take your arms out in the side to the sides like a T. Engage your quadriceps. Lift from the backs of your legs, lift your chest, lift your arms. Lower back down. All right, one more. Take your arms forward. If you're starting to feel pinching in your lower back, first try using your legs more. If that doesn't work, take your hands back towards your hips. So first, lift your quadriceps, lift your legs, lift your chest, lift your arms. You can look forward between your hands. And lower back down. Now come up onto your elbows. Bend both knees. Press your hips into the floor. All right. Just for giggles, lift the leg up. Lower that leg down, lift the other leg up. All right, lower that leg down. When I lift the leg up, my hips press more firmly into the floor. So when we come to Dhanurasana, you want to keep your hips down. Now, Karen asked last week where the weight was in Dhanurasana, and I gave the wrong answer. Sort of. For me, it is belly button to hip blades. But in Light-on Yoga, as I looked it up afterwards, and I have a big picture of it, and I can't find it here, of Dhanurasana. In Light-on Yoga, he says it's on your abdomen. Well, the problem, of course, is where's your abdomen? But he says that the hip blade, at least, at the very least, the pubis should be off the floor. Mine's not really. So anyway, I just wanted to correct that from last week. I was wrong. It's on my belly button for the most part. So anyway, Dhanurasana, bend both legs. Now the hips have to ground in order to lift the legs up. Reach back, grab your feet. If you can't grab your feet, remember that circle belt we made earlier? You can put the circle belt on your feet and use that like this. But if you can grab your feet, then lift your legs off the floor, lift your chest off the floor, and press your feet into your hands to lift up higher. And then use your arms to lift your legs up higher and come back down. You can make a pillow for your head and rest down. One more. Bend your knees, reach back, grab your feet, if you let go of them. All right. Now this one, sometimes this pose is taught with a flexed ankle, or a flexed foot. So if you can grab your ankles, try flexing your feet. Then lift your legs up, lift your chest up, and see if you can get any more height in this position. Then keep that height and point your feet. Come back down. All right. As John Schumacher says, one more does not mean last one. Bend your knees, reach back, grab your feet. My toes are cold, I'm gonna grab my toes. Roll your shoulders back, engage your hamstrings, lift your legs up, kick into your hands, lift them. So this would not be opposed to belly breathe in, because then you look like a rocking horse. So you have to breathe into your ribs. And come back down. All right. I'm going to show something, again, I told you that I like silly stuff. I'm going to show you something a little silly. Hopefully I can do it. So I'm going to roll towards you, and I'm going to try to roll into Chatush Padasana. So I come up, and I roll. I come up into Chatush Padasana, and then I gracefully roll back, and roll to the other side into Chatush, also known as a bridge. So if you want to get into it that way, go ahead and try that. If not, just go into Chatush Padasana, lie on your back, and lift your hips up. So if you're coming in Dhanurasana, you have to come into Parsva Dhanurasana, and then keep rolling, tuck your chin, and then lift your hips up. You also, it helps to have a big space. Right. And you may need to push yourself on one side of the mat in order to have enough space to keep going. Anyway. It takes some practice.
Yes, that actually being on the side feels really good, but it feels like I can't get over my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Okay, I'll see if I can get you a good view of the shoulder.
Okay.
And see. So I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push it back a little bit.
I think your shoulders are more open than mine. Okay. Yeah. All right, we'll work on that.
All right, and then when you've been in Chatush for a while, you can come on down. It's a long time to be in Chatush.
I got there. Kind of.
Either Karen fell off her balcony or she got the pose.
Try the other side.
There's another fun one like that, where you go from Padagustasana.
Can't hold this up.
Split, whoops, or you just keep going. Anyway.
Fine.
Okay, so set up for either Sarvangasana or Setibandha. So Setibandha, 2 blocks, like this. Or shoulder stand. Shoulder stand will have a variation of Ekapada. One nice thing about having your own dedicated yoga space is always having a shoulder stand set up ready. There are many nice things about it, but especially when you use as many blankets as I do. So that shoulder opening of the Parsva Dhanurasana should really help you in Sarvangasana to get the shoulders rolled under. Is anyone doing shoulder stand? Let's see. I think Sopo is shoulder stand. Sopo's friends going to do a naked shoulder stand. Kidding, she's doing it without props. All right, so even if, Courtney, I bet you could be on a higher block. I know you're enough of a backbender, you could get up higher. Yeah. I mean, unless something's going on and you have a reason for not doing that. All right.
Then do I need to put the foot block higher, or does that matter so much?
No, you can have it all the way at the ground. I can't do that. Like my hip flexors don't do that. So that's why I have to show like this. Yeah.
So in whatever position you're in, roll your shoulders under. Soften your throat. I would actually say it's more important in shoulder stand and bridge and Sativanda and these extreme neck flexion poses to have a soft throat than to press more with your arms. If your neck is gripped, you will not be having a good time in this pose. So the first thing you have to do is soften your throat. And one of the ways you can do that is to release your jaw. And the way to release your jaw is to rest your tongue. So if you rest your tongue into the base of your mouth and keep your teeth from clenching together, your jaw should be soft. If your jaw is soft, chances are your neck will be soft. If your neck is not soft, even though your jaw is, try lifting your chin a little bit. And if that doesn't work, have more height under your shoulders. All right. So for the rest of the pose, you do press your upper arms into the floor, no matter what pose you're in. And you activate those same hamstrings that we've been working on all class. Then, thinking more about the left hamstring, lower the right leg halfway to the floor, or if you're in Sativanda, you can lift it straight up. Bring your mind back to your throat and your jaw and your shoulders. And then lift your right leg up. Reset your pose. Keep your hamstring of your right leg engaged and lower your left leg down. Or lift your left leg up, depending on the pose. Soften your breath. Lift your left leg back up. Engage both hamstrings. Bring your mind back to your tongue and your jaw and find out what they're doing. And then to come out from shoulder stand, bring your feet over your head and roll out. To come out from Setu Bandha, lift your hips, bend your knees, lift your hips. Lower the block to its lowest level. Put your hips back down on that block. And then bend your knees, lift your hips again, and take the block out. And lower yourself back down to the floor. Roll to your side, lift yourself up. Now, a few of you were in the Bedrock class on the other day. On the other day. And I believe Dustin taught a pose called Crunchasana. I love this pose. I absolutely love this pose. It's heron pose. So you need enough height under your hips to sit in Virasana. So first, find yourself in Virasana. And then take your right leg forward. So just like Dustin taught, we'll go from Triangle Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana, and then we'll just stay on the same side, and then we'll go into Crunchasana. So take your hands either side of your knees, lift your chest. If that's going well, walk your hands forward. Keep your chest lifted. If that's still going well, hold on to your foot. So you can stop anywhere along the way. All right. Now if you're like me, you're gonna feel grip in your groin. That sounds really strange. You're gonna feel a tightness in the bent leg, hip flexor. And that's gonna cause you to lean towards your straight leg. Don't lean towards your straight leg. All right. See if you can, one way to relax that area is to bring as low down as you can get in the abdomen, bring that in. Just a little. And then you can bend down over the straight leg. And inhale, come back up. Bend your right leg. Make sure both sitting bones are on your support if you have support. All right. Hold on to your right knee, lift your leg off the floor. If that's going well, hold on to your foot. Pull your knee back, lift your chest. Then begin to straighten your leg. As you straighten your leg, pull on your leg to move your chest towards your thigh. Then if that's still going well, bend your elbows, lift the leg up higher. Although this is going into the hamstring at this point. Then bend your right leg, lower it back to the floor, straighten it out, and then bring it to Virasana. And now you're back in Virasana. Take the left leg forward. Level your hips. Now you have to descend right here, but this is for those people that grip, that, you know, when we did, one of the first poses we did was we did Virasana forward, and that grips right there. So that's the same thing here. All right. Bring both hands either side of your knees, lift your chest. And possibly walk your hands forward, lift your chest. All right. This is where, for me, it begins to get problematic on the bent knee side. So I have to pull my lower abdomen in to soften the grip. And then hold on to my foot and fold forward. Walk your hands back in. Bend your left leg. All right, hold on to the knee, lift the leg off the floor, squeeze it in. Keep your back as upright as possible. Hold on to the foot. Bring your knee back like a happy baby pose. Or like a lunge. And then begin to straighten your left leg. Keep your back lifted. Possibly bending the elbows and bringing your forehead toward your chin. Not going that far today. Then bend your left leg. Straighten your left leg out. Straighten your right leg out and come into Dandasana. Press both legs into the floor, lift your chest. Bring your hands either sides of your knees, lift your chest. Either side of your heels, lift your chest. Holding onto the feet. Press your thighs down. Then keeping your chest lifted as long as possible. Bring yourself into Paschimottanasana, extension of the western side. And even here, if you have very flexible hamstrings and tight groins, you'll feel that grip. And you're not going to grip the abdomen to release it. It's not a hard, I actually think of it as getting the abdomen out of the way, because I come into forward bends and my abdomen gets in the way. So I have to, right at the tops of the thighs, I have to pull in, and then I can go a lot further down. where the abdomen meets the tops of the thighs, I should say. All right, inhale, come back up. And I haven't done this, I think, since we started Zoom. So, and I did this, and Marcia reminded me of it, because she's in Baddha right now. This is kind of the oldie but goodie hip opener. We did a lot of hamstrings today, a lot of both strengthening and stretching. So, switch it around. So, lean against a wall. It's nicer if you lean against a wall. And bring your feet in Baddha. You will need a brick. I should have told you that before you went to the wall. 2's even better. I should have gotten the other one. And then you're going to place the brick between your feet. So we're starting on the narrow edge. Go ahead, middle one. Now, the next, this is something I do teach, but it's very difficult to teach on Zoom because you won't be able to see my back and where I'm putting this. I'm going to turn around and show you where the second block goes if you choose to put a second block. It goes above your buttocks. So right here, for me, it's right below the pants line, but it's right at the sacrum. So if you want to,
Do you have it on the wide flat part?
oh yeah, the flat, it'll go right back here.
Thanks.
Flat as it can be. You have to lean forward, and then it's going to make you do a back bend. So that's not what you want. You don't want the back bend. But that's where it starts. And then you slam it down until it pushes your pelvis forward. And for me, it feels amazing on the lower back. But you have to get it just right. Otherwise, it'll just feel like a back bend. And since it pushes your pelvis forward, it makes this Baddha more intense. If it doesn't work for you, the block behind the back, don't worry about it. It'll be the same. All right. Now let's see if you can take, now it's harder with the block behind the back. Let's see if you can move the other block onto its back. So now it's at medium. If your knees are up here, you should stop going wider with the brick. At some point, it's diminishing returns. And then, I like 2 blocks because my feet are big. My ankles hurt. You can take the block to its widest. And I use 2 here. You don't have to use 2. You just need something for your heels to take your legs even wider. I'm not pressing on my knees. I'm just resting my arms on my knees. And then remove all blocks and bring your feet back to Baddha. So you might have gotten some softness on the inner thighs. after that stretch. Another thing you can do here, which I've actually lost. So one of the things about like pretty much practicing at home all the time is I forget to do some stuff. And one of them is to open my feet up and get my toes down. And lost it on this side. All right, release your feet, stretch your legs out. Press your knees down, they can be straight or forward or wide, just something to press your knees down. Spread your toes. Bring your legs together and lie back for Shavasana. Roll your shoulders under. You can have something underneath your knees. Take your arms out to the sides. Let your body rest. Focus on your breath. Deepen your breath. Bend your knees in towards your chest. Roll onto your right side. Roll a little further onto your right side and use your arms to lift yourself back up to seated. Take your arms wide, lift your chest. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Think of something you're grateful for. Namaste.